Welcome back, everyone. I'm Daniel, and today I'm here with the story of God's Kingdom, Lesson 3. Wow. Today, our lesson is the purpose of the gospel, God's Kingdom. We're going to stop at 3 destinations today. The names of the locations are Salvation, the movie, the Covenant, and the Revelation. So, are you all excited to start our new lesson? Let's get right into it. Everybody, we have reached our first stop. Let's read the title together. Salvation, the movie. Wow. Everybody, I want to ask you a question. Have you ever watched a movie before? Yes, all of us has watched a movie before in our lives. And there is just that one movie that we really like. For me, it was Inception because it's a very interesting movie about time and also dreaming and that stuff. And everyone else will also have their own favorite movie. But there is one thing that every movie has. Every movie has a storyline, a plot. There's that one problem in every movie that makes us go oh no, it would be really good if this problem was solved. And as you keep on going, the problem gets bigger, and then when it gets to the top, suddenly it all gets solved, right? That's the plot, and that's the storyline in every movie. In the same way, salvation also has a storyline. Okay, if we look at this graph, we have these words here. Let's read it together. Creation, fall, redemption, and completion. Just like how movies have a storyline, salvation also has a big storyline. So let's look at it briefly. In the beginning, the story starts off with a scene of God creating the beautiful world we call the earth. In it, He creates everything we know and everything we don't know. He creates birds, trees, me, and you. However, God's beautiful creation is destroyed by the fall of man. However, the story doesn't end here because God provides a way to save us. This is when the story resolves with Jesus coming down and being the way to salvation. However, this isn't the end. The plot doesn't stop here because you can see that there's still one more stage. This is called completion. The Bible keeps on going on from here. The whole story we have been talking about has a purpose. Salvation has a purpose, and that purpose is to restore. To restore what? To rebuild the creation that was destroyed by the fall of man. In other words, the purpose of salvation is to restore the kingdom of God. This is a very interesting and action-filled movie God directed. This very interesting and action-filled movie God directed has a moral of the story. That is, God's kingdom is being restored. Let's go to our next stop. Okay, let's read the title together. The Covenant. God created many things in the world, just like how I said just now. He created birds, trees, fish, planets, stars, and many more. However, there is just one creation that stands out of all creation. And do you know what that is? That is you. That is me. That is all of us. That is humans. Why? Because we're created in God's image. In the whole world, in all creation, there is no other creation like humans. Because humans are created in God's image. That's amazing. Another fact about humans is that we, as God's creation, must trust God only. We, as humans, must follow Him as His people. We are His creation, and He is the creator. We are His people, and He is the king. That is what we must remember. God becomes the king and we become His people through covenant. A covenant is also called a promise or a contract of some sort. There are many contracts we make in the world, like between businesses and businesses. Okay, I'll give you this and you give me that. That is what we call a contract. And in the Bible, we call it a covenant. The Garden of Eden is a place that shows that God is king and that we are His people, and also shows the covenant relationship between humans and God. However, because Adam wanted to be free and wanted liberation from God's authority, he broke the covenant, the promise between God. This affects the whole creation, and all creation falls. We ask the question, what will God do with His people who broke the covenant with Him? We can know that God fills the world with His grace. I mean, think about it. Even in this evil and corrupt world, we can see laughter, joy, happiness all around us, right? Even though there might be murdering and crimes everywhere, done every single moment, there is still laughter and joy within us, right? This is what we call God's common grace. However, we cannot avoid death, since that is our destiny. And this is where God's special grace comes in. This special grace is God saving us and making us His people, making a covenant to restore the kingdom of God. This key point is that God makes a new covenant with us to restore the kingdom of God. Everybody, we have reached our last stop for today. Let's read it together. The Revelation. In the Old Testament, the term the kingdom of God doesn't appear a single time, but the message and the basic form are visible in the Old Testament. We see the kingdom of God being promised to Abraham in the Old Testament. We also see the real country that fears and truly serves God as king. However, they are all just the foundation, not the perfect form. Israel is just a brief and rough outline sketch for a beautiful painting of God's kingdom. It's just a scaffolding for the tower, for the towering skyscraper of God's kingdom. When Jesus came onto the earth, He proclaimed everywhere that the kingdom of God has come. However, the kingdom of God is something we seek, something we possess by faith. It is also something that comes in our hearts. The kingdom of God will be truly made true on the last day when Jesus comes. Until then, what we must do is seek it and proclaim, just like Jesus, the kingdom of God. That is what we as Christians must do, as the people of God, as God's chosen people. Now, we have learned many things today, but out of all these things, the most important thing, the main point of today's lesson is that the purpose of salvation is the restoration of God's kingdom. So please remember this as we adventure the next lessons. This was Daniel with the story of God's kingdom. Thank you.